This is a big one.
Maybe you don't know yet, or maybe you don't want to
Is
know.
this really working for you? Or are you doing it just because you were raised in it?
You have to question yourself.
Do I feel good inside? Is this really working for me?
I don't know who I need to be. I don't know how I need to act.
What is spirituality to me?
Whatever this is causing me so much
So
pain.
it's coming back home to us and knowing who we
I
are.
think it's time for us to normalize the word alone.
Welcome, everyone that's listening to us today or that catches this on the perfect time for them. This is Expand with Mel and Rain. We are looking forward to diving into a really great, really big topic today. In the meantime, though, please like and subscribe. That helps us to grow. It also helps you to get our newest episodes that we launch every week so you can hear all of the great topics that we talk about. So you're going to want to do that. And yeah, we've got all sorts of fun stuff that we're going to be talking about today. So the topic that we're hitting today is about spirituality. This is a big one, a really big one, because most people in the world either are really into this. It's very important. This is their life. This is the way where they kind of focus their energy. It's everything. And then we have people that have maybe been burned or been in institutions or religions where they just felt like they didn't feel like they could be the best version of themselves. It caused them pain. And so they've left these religion. And so they're confused. They either don't believe in spirituality at all. They just threw it all away because the religion put a bad taste in their mouth with it, or they've gone to a far extreme to another way that's still kind of a culty, kind of controlling, kind of obsessive over it, where it's proving that maybe they're right in their way and other people are wrong by what they're doing. And sometimes it turns into this fight and war. There's more people killed. I think I've heard this in like religions and spirituality, like people trying to prove that they're right and the other person's wrong. And then they fight over it and there's wars over it. And it's a big topic. There's a lot of angles we can go with this, but we just kind of want to dive in and kind of debunk some of the old school, um, just terminology or ways of living or information that are actually not working. And we want to dissect it and break it down and talk about it and see, is this really working for you? Or are you doing it just because you were raised in it, the home you were raised in, or because you just believe this is the right way that you're supposed to go? But sometimes we don't sit back and question, like, do I feel good inside? Is this really working for me? So we want to talk about it. Rain, you want to talk about this?
Oh my God, hell yeah.
She's excited. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Oh my God, like Mel said, this is a massive topic. Like I think we were just talking, and we're like, okay, what part of this will we actually discuss? And we're like, it's so many parts. And so Mel decided and chose to open the part of religion. I'm assuming, Mel?
Sure.
Are
I
we
mean, that's where it started with me. Spirituality was tied to religion for me. So that's what I came from. And then I separated from the religion that I grew up in. And then it's me trying to figure out what is like really question, like what is spirituality to me? Is it in a religion? Does it have to be in a religion? Does it not? Is it just to me? So it's like figuring that out. So
Yeah, so that's perfect. So this is where we're actually going to take it today. And just remember, we will be talking about this because there are so many different parts to it. It's not just religion based. There's so many different aspects. But today we'll talk about the religion aspect, which is spirituality does exist in religion, right? Religion was based on a spiritual platform. However, as we all know, or maybe you don't know yet, or maybe you don't want to know, or maybe this isn't your truth, it doesn't matter. What happened is a lot of religions, their base of spirituality kind of got diluted in the process, and it became more man-made, so it became more 3D based, which is right, wrong, black, white, all that harsh yes and no, and there was no like murky water in the middle. There was no middle ground. And then it was just because it needed to it's like in a classroom, when you have children in the classroom and you want to have order, you've got rules and laws just because you don't want it mayhem. So when humans want to control other humans, or force them to believe a certain way, religion is the perfect way to do it. Why? Because it's not me who's going to get mad at you. God will. Right? So now there's something larger than yourself. The thing that terrifies most humans is, I'm going to die soon. What happens if I die? And then hell and heaven were birthed. right? So that now you've got, again, two extreme beliefs, right? I'm going to go to heaven if I'm a good person and hell if I'm a bad person. Or even worse off, all the tribulations and suffering I go through here, I need to completely be satisfied with, because the more I go through, the better heaven I receive, or the higher realms of heaven I go to, right? So it became a very hierarchical kind of system with source, with creator of all. So when a lot of people started to leave religions because they choked, they felt fear-based, they felt controlled, manipulated, and something inside starts to question, like, well, if this is the God that I'm meant to love, then there's something really wrong. Then I don't want to love this God. Then there's something, I don't want this God. And let me look for something else, because whatever this is causing me so much pain. I can't be myself. I'm terrified of source. I'm terrified of something called God. I don't know who I need to be. I don't know how I need to act. Whatever I do, however many hoops I jump through, it's still unknown whether I'm going to get to heaven or hell, right? So it's basically, and I've been saying it for years, it's basically as if it's a relationship with a narcissist, right? So let's just hook it up a little bit here. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you are completely confused, you're manipulated, you're gaslighted, you're given the silent treatment, you don't know right from wrong. Like, you're like, oh, so cooking dinner is going to make you happy? I'll cook dinner. Then you're like, okay, I found something that I can maintain as a structure and do, because now I get a good response, like a smile or a thank you or something I desire. And then maybe the next day you do the dinner, a new dinner, and then you don't get that response. You get, who the hell told you cook well? Or I don't want your dinner, or whatever it is that this narcissist will do. So you're constantly on eggshells and you don't know what works and what doesn't. And it's kind of the same way that religion has been kind of manipulated into. So not religions are not bad. It's just what they've been manipulated into becoming has been very narcissistically driven. So in other words, it's something like people who felt so less of themselves and very, very insecure needed something to have more control over their environment, right? So if I want to have more control over my environment, so I feel good, so I feel better, so that life can go my way, okay, then the best thing to do is take religions, all religions, and have them be control mechanisms, right? Because you've got a bunch of people in them. It's not just one or two. It's not like a family member or somebody. It's a whole bunch of people, and you are able to manipulate them. So it's the same way, like what I'm hearing is like Hitler. Hitler was able to manipulate a lot of people, believe that it was okay to do what they were doing. Like, really, to believe that this was of course meant to happen. And like Mel was saying at the beginning, religions, or that's the research she did, which people died a lot more due to fighting over their religions, right? People, that's how people were dying. And until today, people still die fighting for religions and fighting for God and fighting for all that stuff. So it's the same exact thing. It's like, this is where what Hitler did. He manipulated a whole bunch of people to, well, they're human beings, right? Because of certain criterias. And that's what religions do. So if one man could do it, just think of what a religion can do with all the people in the religion that are head honches, right? Because anyone can do it, right? And the minute I say, well, God told me, that's it, everybody believes, right? Or God told our prophet, right? And now I'm just saying the words. So spirituality and religion were meant to actually be in sync. But now what happened is, with religion, it took over so much. And so when you're leaving that religion, you have no structure and base to fall upon. But you want to find source. You want to find God. You want that inner peace inside, because you were not in peace here. There was struggle, there was strife, there was a ton of fear, ton of fear. So you want to leave here and go here, but you don't know what here is. Here is so confusing, because if you had a structure of like, this is source, this is what I do every day, this is what I do on Sundays, this is what I do, I pray 5 times a day, or I go to church every Sunday or Saturday or Friday, or it doesn't even matter. You've got a structure, you've got a community, you've got a tribe, you all speak the same thing, you all read the same book, you all practice the same. You go rush off and you help people because you're going to get points to go to heaven. Like, you have a community, and all of a sudden you're leaving that tribe. That is one of humans' biggest traumas, right? Survival. Now I'm leaving that tribe completely alone. I don't know if I'm going to get eaten up by a wolf, fox, a lion. It doesn't even matter. Am I going to starve to death? Am I going to be alone and lonely? From going from this journey to here, this lonely journey here is terrifying, and it takes so much courage to actually step out. And it doesn't come from courage. It usually comes from tremendous pain, that one will leave this comfort zone, because you can stay in this comfort zone forever, even if it's painful, right? But it's through severe pain you will leave this. When the pain is deep depression, anxiety, confusion, it's really very similar to the symptoms of a victim of abuse. Okay, very, very similar symptoms. So you're going to go through all this and you're going to say, I can't do this anymore. I don't like myself. You know what? I don't even like God. Yeah. And I remember that when I went through that, I hated God. I was like, this can't be, you know, like you're all these flowers and trees and this beautiful in the sky and the beautiful fluffy clouds that move. You're the one who created this, but for some odd reason, creating us, you're going to punish us. And we have all these rules and restrictions and men and women and right and wrong. And it was suffocating. So what happens is, when you're leaving this world and you're going into the world of spirituality, there's a hole, there's a huge gap in between. And what people want to do is they want to jump from this end, and they want to jump here, or they want a platform, they want a bridge, they want something to walk on. The sad part is there's nothing to walk you from here to here, because this is a different tribe than this tribe. And you want to jump from this tribe to this tribe. You want another tribe to be with you. And you can't have another tribe. And this is the biggest problem that is happening in our world today. What is happening is people are jumping from this tribe, this suffocated narcissistic tribe, into another suffocated narcissistic tribe, except it is called something different. It is called spiritual awakening. And it isn't a spiritual awakening. It is actually you terrified to be alone. So you look for a community, you start searching for people, and we've all done it. I've done it. Oh my God, I've done it. You know, I know Mel has done it. We've all gone through this, right? You step in and you just need that comfort. You need some support. You need the people that get you, that understand you. And sadly, the structure that you step on is exactly the same one, with different language, different ways of saying things, different everything, except the same exact face. Okay. And now you're with a whole bunch of confused people, right? And the leader of these, or whatever person you're following or going after or trusting or believing, is also as confused, and also has not found themselves in the process, because they too had jumped into another tribe and thinking this is the way to do it. Spirituality, actually, sadly, it is a very lonely journey, right? And that's what terrifies most humans, is to be lonely. And yet you have to have that lonely experience, because while you were in a tribe, and that tribe was telling you how to think, how to act, who to be all the time, 24 hours a day, you need to detox. You need to detox these voices out of your system, out of your mind, out of your body, the traumas that are held there. And the only way to do it isn't by going to another platform where you're receiving new noise. It's the same noise. The only reason so many people are okay with this is because it's a familiar noise, right? It's a noise of, you should and you shouldn't. You're supposed to speak this way and act this way and do this and do that. It's the same shoulds and shouldn'ts. It's just different language. It's colored differently, right? So you're used to it. So you're like, oh, this feels more free because I can do it my way. You really can't. You're being dictated how to do it. So when you're in a spiritual awakening, you are supposed to be alone for a year, 2, 3. It doesn't even matter. Maybe a month for you. Who knows? You're meant to be completely alone. You're decluttering that vibration. You're decluttering the noise out of your system. Why? And here, I'm going to tell you why. But before I go into the why, I would love you to subscribe, press like, to leave your comments. Okay, we would truly, truly love this. And I think it's a good reminder now that you're in the heated moment of this to just go right there, subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified every single time. And now we're going to get into the why. So, why is it that you have to be alone? Because you want to start to actually find source. The reason you left that religion is because you were looking for yourself. You were looking for truth. You cannot find truth with more noise. You're decluttering the noise. You're changing the noise. You're taking a shower. Okay. You're completely taking a shower. You're bathing in a new personality. But you want to hear source because you hear all these voices. You'll still hear them like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't walk this way. You shouldn't look this way. You shouldn't look this way. You're still going to hear them. But when you're alone, you're going to hear them so loud and you're going to be able to differentiate. This is true spiritual awakening. The true spiritual awakening means my spirit is waking up to my truth, not the truth of society, not the truth of religion. I'm waking up to my truth. When I wake up to my truth, I cannot have anyone around. That's why a lot of people are lonely. When I had my spiritual awakening, I was so lonely, but it's the only way to hear that crazy voices, the recorder, right? Other people's voices that now sound like mine that are repeating stuff. I need to declutter. The volume needs to go down so that I can all of a sudden start to hear and feel divinity speak and truth to come through. Then and only then do I start searching for a tribe that I can resonate with. But then I'll be resonating through the guidance of divinity, okay? Which is completely different than the panic of my ego, right? Like, right? And then you go to all these like spiritual teachers that really are dictating and controlling you the same way that you enjoyed being controlled because it felt safe. So intense. Mel, what do you think? Words.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the spirituality thing it is always meant to be individualized. It's a coming home. It's a coming home to you. It's coming home to me. And that is a process and it's quiet. And the world is so set up right now. It's like on speed. It's like on crack cocaine right now. And it just gets even worse and worse. You know, pay attention to the social media. It's like 30 seconds too long, needs to be 15 seconds. Oh, 15 seconds too long. People's attention span. It's like it's gonna get where everything's just like internally, it's just like exploding inside, you know, where it's just like we just can't do it anymore. We're like on this hamster wheel that's just going 100 miles an hour, and some are just like trying to prove I can keep up, like this pride ego thing to keep up, and then some are like, this isn't worth it. They're realizing it's not worth it, and those are the ones, the wise ones that are waking up to be like, okay, I'm not going to fight more. No more fighting. We got to stop fighting. It's about love and slowing down. And this world, like I said, is set up where that feels wrong because everything we're taught, if we want more, we have to work harder, get another job, work more hours, get a promotion. It's like more energy, more work, more. It's always more is the thing. So it feels counterintuitive. It feels backwards. And so I think that's why we question ourselves too. Like, this doesn't make sense. If I slow down, then more is going to come from me. And the truth is, yeah, it has been lonely. Like the past several years, as I've really tried to really slow down my energy, it came to a point where I was like, Mel, I just wanted to jump into something. So I was like, even a business that I lost the passion for, it was like, okay, I don't want to put energy into this. I feel like I can do more, something that's more rewarding for me that I'm going to enjoy more and be excited to do. And I, I, I was like, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. I'm always starting businesses. And then because I said I wasn't going to work, then it was like, oh, I'm going to, okay, maybe I need to do a hobby. Like I felt like I had to do something, like I have to be proving a thing that I can say that I'm doing because I didn't feel okay just existing. Like I felt like I'm a lump on a log. What's the point if I have nothing to do today? Like it was really hard and unsettling. And I'm like, Mel, you're going to have to sit with it. I like told myself, you have to sit with this, just being alone and feeling like you're okay. Just your existence is enough before I allow you to do anything else that's more enjoyable or fun or whatever it is. And that was a test I had to put myself through and just connecting with myself. And, but yeah, that's what I feel like spirituality is. It's about like connecting with us, our inner source, our inner guide. And the truth is, nobody can tell you what that is. In fact, for me, red flags go off the minute someone says, you need to follow the prophet, you need to follow this person. That should be a sign of red flags. Nobody should tell you that you should just follow someone else and listen to them. It's how are you ever going to be in touch with yourself? on you as the divine creator of your world, your universe. In fact, you get to create other little universes if you want that are their own universes. And like, I feel like we're just doing this backwards and we're just so reliant on other people because we're so afraid to sit with ourselves. We're so afraid because it's like, to be able to just tell ourselves and see that like, I really am enough. I am enough. I love myself. Do you know how long of a journey that's been for me? And I'm still on it. This is me connecting to divinity, to source, the source within me that communicates directly through me. So if anyone says, well, this works for me, you should do this. Oh, nope, that doesn't work. I've got some friends that do different meditations. They'll get up and they'll do these different things and all the stuff they have to do. Well, it's like that works for them and their body and their heart and their mind. And I try this stuff and I just feel guilt and shame. Well, gosh, it works for them. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe dang it. And then I shame myself even more. And it's like, no, that's just not my thing. So it's coming back home to us and knowing who we are and not comparing ourselves to others, not judging ourselves, not shaming ourselves. So that's how I feel about this. And it does get confusing in religions. It can get really confusing because they do try to put so much of their information in as if that is the way and just God told them, so just trust them. And that sounds very scary to me. And I just think that sounds like a red flag. Like, no, if I'm ever going to try to guide anyone, anything, it's like bringing them back home to them. And I'm going to be very clear. I'm not the guru. I don't know. This worked for me. I'm happy to share my experience for you to test it out and then see if it feels right to you. But the moment I start to cross a line or anyone crosses a line to say like, this is what you need to do. You need to do this medicine. You need to journal every day. You need to do gratitudes every day, like all this stuff. It's like, I'm out. That doesn't work for me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I agree. Mel, that was beautiful, sweetheart. I totally agree. And I think it's time for us to normalize the word alone. It's time for that word not to be so freaky and scary, that I'm going to be spending time alone. Because if we can change that language, because you're not really alone, it's impossible to be alone. Not because, oh, you've got your guides and your angels and all that other stuff. We'll talk about that some other time. But you can't be alone because you've got blood cells, you've got organs, you've got an entire world that is walking and breathing and moving and dying and coming to life within this vessel alone. Like, forget the angels, just here your hair is going, so you're totally not alone. You're very busy in here. So the word alone, it's like, I want to get to know every cell in my body. I want to get to know my stomach. I want to get to know my organs. I want to get to know my heart. I want to get to know my eyes. I want to get to know divinity. So now that what we can do is we can maybe shift that. Well, instead of I'm sitting alone, you can still say it, but let's change the word to I'm sitting with my divinity. I'm sitting with my best friend. I'm sitting with God, right? That's who I'm getting to know. That's who I'm spending time with right now. This is what I want to do. I'm so sick and tired of people's noises and their voices. And trust me, I'm like a complete FOMO, fear of missing out. And when this happened to me, it was beyond painful, beyond painful. I was crying, I was heaving. There really was no one I could turn to. I didn't trust my family. Most of my friends just vanished out of my life. I was in the midst of getting a divorce. It was hell, right? And all I needed was people. It was like a drug addiction. It's the same thing with religion. And it was at the same time, I was really pruning myself out of this religion at the same time. So even that base, where the way I would pray or the way I would turn to God had to change. So I didn't even have that. Like, even the same system in which, like, neither the family structure that I was used to, or the friend structure I was used to, or the marriage structure I was used to, or the religious structure I was used to was there. There was nothing, complete empty loneliness at its best, right? So even when I wanted to pray to source because I was so lonely, I didn't know how to do it outside of the structure I was taught, right? Or this is how I speak to source. And I had to teach myself that. And a lot of times it would only show up when I was heaving in tears on the floor, completely feeling the utter pain of loneliness. And then through all this pain, it would go on for hours and sometimes for days. I'm not saying like I felt pain. first spoke to me. No, like it was painful for days and maybe weeks before I purged so much that I could hear, I could feel, or I could breathe. I'd be like, wait a minute, I can just say, hey, source, how are you? You know, what the hell is this? you know, take care of this for me. Like I could speak to God that way. So a lot of times that lonely space is really a way for you to develop a friendship with divinity. So maybe this is what we can call it, a friendship with divinity. I'm taking time off. Even though I'm not the one who chose it, even though my higher self chose it, everyone has disappeared. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to find my true best friend, my ultimate best friend. And that is divinity itself. That's the creator of all. So that's time for me. Now, a lot of people, including myself and a lot of people, I'm not just saying this, you will find it through nature. So a lot of times you will find companionship in nature. And these companions don't have to speak back to you, right? Don't have to advise you the way we are used to humans. And it's a different kind of companionship. I'm getting goosebumps because this is information for me too that I'm receiving. I've never heard this. So the companionships is like we all know it, but I never heard this way. Like the companionship is in the stillness of the tree, when the breeze touches the grass and just moves it. What can I feel with the wind? What is the wind saying? What is the grass saying? It's like going into a space that's so much um, deeper inside yourself, where you're tapping into your magical core to be able to actually hear, feel the things that are not human based, that are not vibrational words, right? So you're decluttering. So loneliness actually becomes, I am befriending divinity again. I am connecting with divinity again. And it doesn't matter how long it takes because it gets louder and louder. Divinity's voice starts to get louder as the human voices start to silence. So this is actually a very special time. It's painful as hell, but it's really special. So normalizing the word alone. And I will recommend you to check out the book. It's an ebook called Mind Tweaks. There are four parts to it, but the part that I would recommend is to look at the trust one. Just take a look at it. This book is really cool. You could just flip through it. You want to ask a question, you can open it. Well, you're not going to have it in hard copy. You can just like scroll really fast on your screen and just stop and read what comes up. But I think it's really great, and you can check it out in our Buy Me a Coffee site. But yeah, I just wanted to recommend that for you to check out. Mel, any insights, love?
Mm, I love all of that. And I love it when you have new information come in. I always get so excited. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. Something fun and new for both of us. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And that's what it's all about. And I'm just like was questioning everything of like, gosh, why are we so afraid? Like why are we so afraid to be alone with ourselves? Like I feel like there's a deep fear there. And there was a fear for me too. I had an experience where I had done so much of my healing work, so much work, inner work to come back to find inner peace. I always say, I just want to be like the eye of the storm. The chaos is going on around me, but I want to be calm no matter like where I'm at. I want to be able to come back home to me. I don't want to give my power away. I don't want to get sucked into the whirlwind. And I feel like, we're telling ourselves these stories all the time. It's in our head. Everything really is, it's in our head. Like if someone does something, I could get super offended and be like, oh my gosh, and then be mad the rest of the day. Or I could be like, well, they must be having a bad day. Well, that sucks for them. Okay, I'm going to go do this. Like it could be as easy as that. And where my energy remains in its calm and good space. But this whole being alone thing, I remember going through my, kind of my awakening process that was just literally I had to step away from like everything and everyone. Luckily for me, it was in the middle of like the COVID time. So people couldn't be around other people. I didn't have to go in the same thing of being like the host and planning parties and events that we were used to doing and putting so much energy into everything and keeping everything together. It like forced me to like not have any guilt there, which was nice. That was nice. That made it easier for me. Um, but yeah, I remember like reading something talking about doing a vision quest where you go sit on the mountain for 3 days and 3 nights with no food or no water and just sat alone with myself. And I remember reading that and I was like, I like started panicking a little bit and freaking out and like started crying because my body was telling me like it's time. And I knew like, Mel, you need to prove this to yourself. You have got to be okay just existing with you. And this was a beautiful thing that other people had set up and put together where I could just choose into it. It was safe. There was people there and everything. Yeah. But yeah, I remember it really scared me though. And I was just like, but I knew, Mel, you've got to be able to see that you're okay being alone. And I couldn't do that on my own, just sitting at home trying to do that on my own with kids or whatever. It had to be a scheduled, set up thing. And so that was a beautiful gift that I gave myself. But the truth is, so much fears came up. It scared the crap out of me. And then how it worked for me when I got there, those 3 days, the first day and a half, I like really enjoyed it. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't have people pulling at me. Mom, this, that, the other, like all the things. It was like, oh my gosh, just in nature up in the mountain. I got to listen to the birds and just like no one pulling. And all I had was a journal, just journal and me and sitting on a sleeping bag. Couldn't go hiking or walking. It's just literally sitting in the small circle of a space with prayer ties around it for my protection, with my intentions of why I'm there. It was very intentional. And and I was able to learn a lot about myself. And I realized, you know what? I really do like taking space for myself and having a low time. And in nature, that is therapy for me. And I don't give that to myself nearly enough, but it really is like just, yeah, I'm able to come back home to myself, just this calm and the eye of the storm, and like wisdom and information comes to me that doesn't come in the distractions of my home when I'm busy doing laundry and all the things. But then after like a day and a half, I started to realize like, okay, like I'm starting to miss my people. I realize I really do love my people. I love connection. I love connecting with people. So I do love connecting with nature and I need a piece of it. But I also realize I just need a small, I don't need a ton of time with myself. I do need that time to connect. And I also love connecting with my people. And I was able to just kind of see like my threshold, who I am, where other people may be like, gosh, 3 days wouldn't be enough by myself. I would want 10 days. And that's fine. But we've got to give ourselves that space to see how we tick, how we talk, like what works, what doesn't work, to come back home to us without all the noises of everybody else's voices in our head from just everything. And so it was really a beautiful experience to have that and to really get to know Mel a little bit more in that way. So yeah, it's about coming home to us and being able to give ourselves that space. And now I'm like, I love space. I love space so much. And just sitting in my own walking or sitting in the bathtub and just all of a sudden, like as I've given myself more quiet time to separate other people's energies and what's mine energy and what's theirs, I'm having profound insights coming in, like these profound things that drop in that I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had these ideas, like marketing ideas and things to grow and connect with people and collaborate with people that are like, would be really beautiful connections for everybody involved. And that just stuff never came to me before. So I'm like, wow, if you want to have a successful business or life or with self, the truth is slowing down, giving ourselves that quiet space and see what we can create. What templates can I come up with versus just following everybody else's templates and jumping through their hoops and just being like, oh, this person makes a lot of money. Let me do what you do. I could create something that blows the socks off everyone in this world that's never been done before, but it's not going to happen until I slow down and trust myself that I do have my own unique wisdom and knowledge that nobody else can replace. I am irreplaceable, and going to that self love and that self respect, but it's layers and it's being willing to slow down and look at that. My thoughts on that.
Yeah. So it's important in your spiritual awakening phase to be okay with being alone, because you don't want to go through another religious platform. You really, 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 truly don't, because it breaks you more than anything, right? They tell you there's a thing that they say, go what doesn't break you makes you stronger, something like that.
What doesn't kill you
Kill
makes you
you.
stronger. There's a song.
Yeah. And yeah, whatever, to me, it's like, well, if it didn't kill me, it's not making me stronger. Actually, I've noticed it's make people a lot more distrusting and more whatever. But in general, so we're going to ignore that saying. We're just simply going to say that if you're going to go from a religious structure into trying to discover who you are, please, please, please avoid jumping into another structure. Before getting into it, it is important for you to recognize, am I going through fear? Why am I saying yes to this program? Why am I saying yes to this coach? Why am I saying yes to this ceremony? Why am I saying yes? Why am I saying yes? You have to question yourself. Why? Because now you're leaving a platform to go into another way of being. You don't know what that other way of being is. Like Mel was saying, it's completely different. She's sitting in the bathtub. Information comes through. It looks completely different. To you, it may not be the bathtub, right? You may be cooking and doing the laundry, which she doesn't receive through laundry. You might receive through laundry. What it is you're trying to leave a structure and go into another kind of being. So what's going to happen is you have to ask why. Why do I want to be part of this? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to take this? If it is fear driven, you have to know the difference between fear inside your body. And we're definitely going to talk about fear quite a lot, not in this episode, but we will go into fear and how that feels. If it is fear based, and how do you know if it's fear based? You ask, why am I doing this? Because I've been alone for so long. What if I'm doing it wrong? I don't know if I'm doing this correct. They know better than me. There's a fear. Fear is self-doubt, let's just say. For today, for the sake of this topic, it's self-doubt. Right? You're in this, you're in fear. Oh my God, I'm so alone. I'm going to be alone forever. Right? Oh my God, maybe I need to go back to my religion. There's something wrong. Maybe I will go to hell. Maybe this is God's punishment. Whatever it is that's driving you to take, talk, or be with this specific group, person, whatever, that's when you stop. That's when you do not take that step, because in that moment, in that very beautiful moment of hell, is your opportunity, okay, to step up for yourself. It's that glimmer of opportunity where you're in a battle within. There's an argument inside. There's a fear. There's the crazy fear, and it feels like you want to die. Okay, it feels like you want to die and you want to do anything. You want the next hit. You need the thing, right? You need people right now, right now, right now. I have to be part of a community. Do nothing. Do nothing until that urge stops. When that stops, ask yourself again, do I still want to do this thing? And if it's something like, oh, I'm so excited to learn something new. Okay, there's no desperation. That's like, I'd like to know more about astronomy and astrology, not because I want to be part of their tribe and I can't be alone, but because this is something I'd like to add to myself. So asking yourself why is going to give you the freedom. Now, if you have jumped in, which I'm sure most people who are watching this have jumped into a million things, okay? Even if you have jumped into those million things and you're stopping, or you're starting to notice that you've cluttered yourself again and you're confused like you were, simply ask yourself, do I need all this stuff? Okay. Have I spent quality time with myself? Okay. And quality time doesn't mean you have to, spend like a month away from people. Quality time means splurge during the day where you're coming back to yourself. You're asking yourself the question. So this question, when you're in the midst of all this, like, oh, have I spoken to divinity? Between me and me, the way I speak, my conversation with divinity could be like, seriously, get it done. Or, please God, could you really get this done? Or, oh, I'm going to journal today. Or it can be anything. There is no system, right? So please ask, what is driving me to do that thing? Okay. And if you know what it is, and it is a fear, please stop. I don't care. I'm at home. I'm not doing anything. Mel's at home. But it's for your own sanity, because you don't need to go through all that to reach where you're meant to reach. So it's just the shortcut. Nobody's going to tell you this. Nobody is going to tell you this. No one. Everyone will be like, come, come. It's me, my program, right? My thing. It'll do it for you. I've done it. I went through and I've come the other end. And that's when you don't believe this. This is a circus play. Okay. You don't believe that stuff. Okay. Because no one, I'm telling you, no one has found the answer. Okay. No one has found the answer. Even Ramdas, who's dead now, who I loved and adored, but Ramdas, to the very last day, he was saying he still feels really sad that the people being murdered in the world. He's still feeling the pain of others. He got paralyzed. He was mad at God when he got paralyzed. He was like a guru. He got paralyzed. He was mad. Like, why? But I'm a person. Even him, okay, this guy. So someone who's like, oh, Today, fine, terrific. I found my peace. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I've been doing this work for 20 years. Bullshit. There's still stuff. There's still things that I'm going through. I still have feelings. I'm still a human being, right? This is truth. So whatever goal you have, that you're jumping from religion to a spiritual place, you're not jumping from here to here so that you can become something. You're jumping from here to here so that you can have freedom, so that you can connect to divinity, whatever that looks like specifically for you. Okay.
Oh
And
my gosh, I love that. And what you just said, it just made me just realize something that we there's something about this whole the grass is greener on the other side, or once I get that rose, I'm going to be happy. Once I get that big thing, I'm going to be happy. Like I think there's something wired in the human brain of which is why they're like, oh my gosh, oh good, someone has it figured out. It feels safe to us. It feels like, okay, this is good. I'm safe. I'm safe. There's something that goes to the roots of probably just safety, of feeling like I'm safe. And since I don't have it figured out, I'm glad somebody does because that feels safer while I'm trying to figure it out. Or, oh, I don't have to figure it out now. They already have it figured out. It's easy. We can dumb it down. Like it feels easier sometimes to just put our trust in somebody else that has done the work because it's like we refuse to do the work. And the work really is that there is not an end all be all. It's just the journey. All of this is just the journey. And it's being okay, being present in the moment with sad feelings, with anger, and what's underneath that, with happiness, with joy, and not being attached to it. But I think that's the problem. And that's just religion's a good example of it, or even spirituality, depending on how we're using it, is just it's like we just think like, oh, there's hope that it's going to be perfect there. And so, like, we keep, I think that's what we're holding on to, this hope of everything's just, I'm going to finally arrive where nothing's going to phase me. I'm never going to be irritated. I'm just going to be like Zen all the time. And it's like, I think that's what we're searching for. And it's like, that's the bullshit. It's like, let it go. No, like enjoy the moments. Today it's like, oh, I was in a funk. And then it's like, okay, go be in your funk and go chill. And then the next day, all of a sudden, I have all this natural energy. Enjoy the natural energy, like going with the flow, going through the emotions, not trying to block them, not trying to stuff them. That's just creating this inner pain. And so this is just an excuse. It's another distraction. I think it's just a big ass distraction.
it's a 3D. It's a 3D on repeat. Just
And it's
with now
not
we're using
real.
the word spiritual. Oh,
Yeah. And it's not real. It's not fulfilling that need that we want. There's so many people that are in religion that are so depressed. They're on all these medications. It's like, it's not working. We've got to look at it and be like, is it really working? You say you're happy. Are you really truly happy to your core? Do you feel inner peace? Do you feel love? Do you feel acceptance? Can you allow people to be in whatever space or energy field they want? Or are you judging them? Are you saying my way is right, your way is wrong? You know, there's just so much of that trying to prove that other people are wrong and we're right, and just all these games. And it's just like, let it go. Let people figure out their individuality. Let them figure out what spirituality is to them, and just let the rest go. Let people just be, and like leave them alone. Quit hyper focusing on everyone. Like we've got to come back to ourselves. And again, even people are a distraction. We use people as a distraction, kids as a distraction, home, work, spouses, everything is a distraction for us to just figure out who we are inside and be able to just embody that and be that, which should just be light and love and bliss and joy. And that's where we can be, at least most of the time. I get not all the time because we're humans. So again, I don't want that to be another thing that we're striving for. It's being okay with all the emotions, letting them flow, letting them pass. But we won't get bogged down if we're holding on to, I can't be angry. I can't be mad, judging the person. It's just like, let it be, feel the feelings, and then just come back to our inner truth and calm. And
yeah, I just want to very clarify that it doesn't look anything like that. You're not going to be like this. Okay, this is really, really, really important because that was a program speaking. No, it's not going to look like this. You're not going to be this person who's zen and centered and you have it all figured out. This you need to, that idea, all of us, including me, that idea we need to take and throw in the garbage. Okay, because that is garbage. Okay, that is not how humans are. That is not how our lives look like. That is not who you want to become, because it's going to be boring as hell. Okay, for anything to happen in your life, for you to be like, it's okay, that's just hell. Okay, that's the epitome of hell. So no, you're not striving to be this guru, this zen, this eye in the storm, this all this language. No, that's not where you're striving, because if that's where you're going to be striving, you're going to be hating on yourself 24 hours a day, because you're going to notice that you can never be that person you've put on a pedestal, which is yourself in death. Basically, that's who we'll become when we die,
Mm.
right? That's the idea. When we die, we become that. Maybe that's why we all have this deep desire to become that, because this is who we were before we came into this experience, and where we go after this experience. We become Zen, right? And that's why maybe we have this drive for it all the time, and we're trying, but this is not what we receive here. It's impossible to get it here. It's
Mhm.
impossible in the span of one day, in the span of 24 hours, and forget, like 7 or 8 hours of them were asleep, right? So in that short period, our moods are changing drastically. The press of a button, right? Somebody rang the doorbell. Wasn't time to ring. I'm irritated. Somebody rang the doorbell. I'm excited. I've been waiting for someone. I'm happy. Same doorbell, same experience, different me, different moment. So the idea of us being in the Zen flowy place, if we can let that go, we will all relax, because we're not striving anymore to be the spiritually awakened person,
Mm.
whatever that means. Does anyone, actually, that's a perfect question for everyone to answer, including me and Mel. What is a spiritually awakened person? How do they look like? How do they act? Who are they? Let's let's see, what is everyone's language about a spiritually awakened person, right? Because we want to bring that in, we want to put light to it. Why? Because we want to see it. So that we can all be like, really, really, I've never met a human like this. Really, really, no, this is more of an angelic trait. So maybe that's the question we need to ask our audience and ask ourselves to answer. Debunking that also.
Yeah. Wow. That was so good. You caught that. Cause it's like, I feel like I'm like, okay, I get it. Like we shouldn't, I'm saying that. And then all of a sudden I start to say something and I'm so glad that you catch it of like, I want to be in the eye of the storm. And it's just cause I don't want to be, I think it's for me, and I don't know if it's a different, yeah, I want to own the journey, that the point is just to enjoy the freaking journey, the human experience with feelings. I think that's what's different than like trees and plants and all these other things that are out there. Is it's like maybe that's what's unique to the human experience of why we chose to be here, wanted to be here, why we're who knows. That doesn't matter why we're here. We're here. That's the point, right? We're here as humans. And but we have these feelings, and it's like I just wanting to be okay with them, just being okay with all of them. They're just all there, like they're fun and exciting. And it's like, ooh, you're right. It would be boring to just be like, oh, everything is perfect. Nothing phases me. Oh, here we go. Nothing to learn, nothing to grow from. I already know everything. Okay, let me just go and let me tell people what I know. Like,
Dude,
yeah,
that
like,
sounds very much like someone who's, that's mainly like most of the humans who are in trauma, right? Like that's the fake us. The whole I'm fine. I'm dying inside, but I'm fine, right?
yeah, follow me, follow me. I know everything.
Yes. But the only reason I said that, Mel, is because you gave me permission if I do hear something to say. I just want
Yes.
everyone to know I would like, I love Mel, and I would never like do that in public, right? So she gave me the okay. She's like, if you hear something I say that's part of the program or whatever, just please say it. Don't stop yourself. So thank
Yes.
you, Mel.
Yes. And the truth is, because guess what? I'm like embracing my vulnerability. I'm just owning being authentic and real of like, the truth is, yeah, I was raised in a freaking program, just like everybody else on this planet. We're in this domestication in this program, and it's debunking and it's the deprogramming the bullshit, and like being able to talk about these hard conversations that are typically sensitive. Like they're sensitive topics. Talking about religion, people hold on to this. This is everything. This is their world. This is how they live, where they put their time, their energy, their money, everything. I get it. I get it. I'm not shaming anyone. I don't care to fight with anybody. It's nothing but love and just coming back home to us. But yeah, full permission, because yeah, I'm still in the program. I'm going to say things that I fully in my mind, it makes sense to me from my perspective, which is how beautiful is it to be in relationships where you can like let the person know in a loving way, hey, actually, I think I think that's old school thing that you just said. Here, let's talk about it. Like this, without me getting defensive and be like, how dare you call me out in the middle of this? This is going to go, this is live. This is whatever. This is literally lifetime action, present moment, trying to go through the bullshit of just like, we're just freaking humans. I'm doing the best that I can. I am sorry if I say something that offends anyone, not meaning to. I don't mean to do that. I don't want to hurt anyone or cause anyone pain. I just want to be real about what's going on, sharing my experience, allowing Rain full permission to call me out on that. And it was good because it's like, oh, you're right. That's not what I'm trying to get across. And I don't want to share things. And especially if I'm speaking on a platform and people are listening, I definitely do not want to share something that's like, oh my gosh, how it could have been interpreted a different way, or even how I'm understanding it a way that's like not truth to me. And I just haven't debunked it myself. So thank you. Continue to call me out when I do the old programming. Like, this is great. People can see it in action and how to not get defensive and mad about it. It's just like, it's great. I don't want to be in the old program either. It's just causing me pain. So
I love you, Mel.
I love you too. That's why we have so much fun together. This is so great.
Yeah.
We're just learning too with the rest of you. Some things we have figured out in some areas that maybe the rest of you don't. So we're going to share. And some, Rain will just, she'll literally get information, as you can see, of like, oh, here's a new one coming in. I get to learn something new, which is why she likes doing these recordings too. And then I love them because I get to just absorb all of this amazing energy that just feels like truth to me. And
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I love doing them because when I rewatch, I'm like, oh, because I'm not, sometimes I'm not, I look the same, but sometimes I'm not aware of the information. I can't really remember all of it. So this is exciting for me too. Like when the thing happens, I'm like, oh, so yes. So I think we're complete. What do you think, Mel? Or do you have something you'd like to share, sweetheart?
Yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about this. So just all of you, just I think the point is of this is just be intentional about what you're doing and be okay if you can shift past that fear space of being okay to question what you're doing. And not that you have to even change. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, oh, if I question this, then I'm unfaithful, or that means I have to change. Like, no, just sit with it and just come home to you and see, like, does this feel good? Do I really like being in this, or do I really believe this? Does this make sense? Does it cause me inner peace? Does it cause others inner peace? Like, just be intentional about why you're doing things. And it's not a right or wrong. It's like, does it work for you right here, right now? Then keep doing it. And if it doesn't, then be okay to maybe look at something else or other possibilities. All right, you want me to wrap up?
Yes, sure,
Okay.
sweet.
Okay, so we just want to remind you guys again to like and subscribe so then you can get all of our new information every single week when these podcast episodes come out. Please leave a comment. We'd love to know your feedback on this topic. This is a big topic, so but we're all for it. So we'd love to hear different perspectives and just kind. We don't need people being rude. There's no need to be rude. we probably won't respond if you're rude. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction or put the energy into it. I'm just not going to do that. So I'll be very clear about that. But if you're like, hey, I kind of feel this way, like, let's talk about it. That's fun. I will engage in those conversations. We also have our Buy Me a Coffee link that's in the description. So we've got lots of digital downloads on there. We've got beautiful products on there. Those that are watching, you can see this cute bracelet that I have on. You can add an aromatherapy. I haven't added it yet. These little aromatherapy balls where you can put in and then you can smell them. So days where you need calming or days where you need energy, you can put whatever essential oil is your preference on there. So we've got all sorts of beautiful jewelry on there. You can check it out. We do have, let's see, did you say you're putting the freebie in the description, Rain? Your freebie offering?
Yes,
Okay.
we've got a freebie offer.
And what do you want to tell about what that is?
Sure. Okay. We've got a freebie offer. But before I get into that, let me just tell you about Mel's bracelets. She sent me a whole bunch as a gift. And I went completely insane. And my friends, like, they were fighting over them because they weren't enough. And right till today, this has been like over 3 months or 4 months. Just wearing them. I loved mine, but it broke. So Mel's sending me another one. But they're still wearing them. They're gorgeous. I really recommend it. So going back to the gift, we've got a free gift. There are 11 essential questions for your self-discovery. It doesn't matter if you just started, if you're halfway there, if you have been spiritually awakened. These questions are something that I highly recommend you just constantly revisit every time and look at your answers every 6 months. So we're giving them out as a gift, totally free, just for you.
So yep, just click on the description, that link right there, and you can go ahead and do that and sit with yourself. This is a time where you can sit with yourself, have some quiet time, do some journaling, and really answer those questions thoughtfully to come back to you and being, yeah, clear on yourself. So, and then another thing, we're considering doing live. So we want to know who's interested in this too. We thought this was a really fun idea, but again, we just want to ask and see if you guys are interested in this. So we could start doing lives possibly every other week or once a week. We'll have to figure out our time schedule for that, for like an hour where we get on the same time, the same day. And you guys get to like come on and like ask questions. So whatever you're like struggling with that week, that day, that month, you can ask those questions and get just really great guided, like beautiful information from Rain. And yeah, and you can connect with us that way. So please comment in that if you like that idea or not. That would be great. Otherwise, we will see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.